two quick things from me, and then I'm going to turn it over to our orator. That's why we practice in this.
Tonight, though, is one of those nights, fellas, that you'll remember 10, 15, 20 years from now. You won't remember the cold. You remember the way we responded. It ain't going to come to us easy, fellas. We're going to have to fight and claw and scrap. And on Monday night, Buffalo, snow, wind, hostile environment. Nonetheless, how do we feel about a Monday night victory?
I thought they were all robots who didn't have fun. Didn't Lane Johnson say they don't have fun in New England? That looked like fun to me. Charean, I wanted to be part of that fun.
Yeah, it looked like a lot of fun, and Bill Belichick looked like he enjoyed last night immensely.
You know, and look, they say they don't hear what people are saying. They say they don't pay attention to the way that teams are regarded. They'd been hearing all last year and all of this year about the Bills, and the Bills are the best team now, and the Bills are going to own the division, and the Bills are going to be what the Patriots have been. And after 1 year of the Bills, Bill is back, and they pay attention to all of it, and they are very vindicated and gratified by where they now are. So, fill in the blank time. When it's all said and done, blank will be the 1 seed in the AFC. Who do you have, Charean?
Well, I'm going with the Chiefs yet again, Mike. They've been there, won that the last couple years. They've been the AFC team to go on to the Super Bowl, won one, lost one. I still think they're the best team in the AFC, if not in the NFL. They didn't play like it early, but I think they're starting to play like it now. And guess what? They have a defense that they didn't have the last 2 years. And you keep thinking that offense is going to come around. I think that offense is going to come around. I don't think this is a team that's going to lose the rest away. So it's going to take, obviously, those teams in front of them to lose, but I don't think they're going to lose the rest away, Mike. I think they're going to win out, and I think in the end they're going to be the number 1 seed.
See, I think it's going to be the Patriots. And this bye week that they're getting, the latest possible bye, latest ever bye the NFL has had, week 14, that just plays right into their hands. It's kind of got the potential to be the same thing we saw for the Bucs last year. Not that they're limping into their bye either. They're going in 9-4. They got 4 regular season games on the back end, and they can win all 4 of these games. And then they got 4 playoff games after that, and they can win all of those. Oh, wait, they may only have 3 after that. So forget about going 8-0. They may only need to go 7-0. And if they win the last 4, they will only need to go 7-0 to win the Super Bowl. So I think it's going to be the Patriots, and I think the Patriots are going to be back in Los Angeles. And I can only hope it's Patriots versus Buccaneers in Super Bowl 56. The game that we never thought we would see again when it happened on October the 3rd may be happening on February the 13th. I got my fingers crossed because that would be the dream matchup, Patriots-Buccaneers. All right, the NFC team fighting for the final 2 wildcard spots that I'm most confident in is which? Who? One, Charean.
Well, I'm going to go with Washington. And as we know, they've still got a chance to win the division. Huge game Sunday against the Cowboys. They play them twice in the next 3 weeks. They're all division games they have left. They're on a 4-game winning streak. They're playing really well. They've beaten some really good teams. I mean, they beat the Buccaneers. They beat the Raiders. They've just continued to do it. And Taylor Heineke, I think, continues to get better. And I don't think we give Ron Rivera enough credit for the coach that he is. He's better than Matt Rule right now, and Carolina got rid of him, and maybe sometimes you need to move on and start over. And as you've said, the coach loses his voice in that locker room, but he's got that voice in the Washington locker room, and they're playing really well right now. They may win the division, but I think they get in the playoffs no matter what.
And Ron Rivera, a 2-time Coach of the Year. If they get to the playoffs, he should receive serious consideration for Coach of the Year again. Because even though they had high expectations going into the season, we decided early on the expectations were too high, and they get into a 2-6 hole, and they have dug out of it. You know, I would be inclined to say Washington, but I want to pick a different team. I'll say the 49ers. I think what happened in Seattle is just kind of like that happens from time to time. I think the 49ers can get hot, and I think that they've got the formula, they've got the understanding, they've got the experience, and they're currently holding one of the wild card berths. And remember, with Washington, it may not be a wild card berth. They have two paths. Yeah. They have a wild card path, and they have an NFC East championship path if they can take care of the Dallas Cowboys. All right, through 13 weeks, the team I still can't figure out is who, Charean?
I'm going to go with the Chargers. I mean, they're sitting there at 7-5, but here recently it's been loss, win, loss, win, loss, win. And they started out 4-1, looked like they were going to win that division. They're sitting top and probably should have been 5-0 because they had 2 touchdowns called back against the Cowboys. But then they had losses to the Vikings and Broncos that they shouldn't have had. It just feels like this is a team that should be better than what they are and should be higher than what they are in the playoff seedings right now. But they've done nothing, on the other hand, to show me that they can be a true contender to win the championship this season, Mike. They confound me, and they continue to do it week after week after week. You never know which Chargers team is going to show up. That was pretty impressive against the Bengals. I didn't expect them to win that game like they did.
And, the Chargers more recently have been on that roller coaster with short and sudden hills and valleys. The Bengals are more of a gradual drop, and they start to build something up, and then they have a letdown, and then they build up again, and we start to think, hey, they're pretty damn good, and then they have another letdown. So they're the team I can't figure out because they have shown us at times they're capable of being great, but they're also capable of just laying an egg. And that's the problem, because when you get to the postseason and you're playing the best teams under the highest degree of pressure, you can't have a letdown for even a quarter. With all that pressure, if you just have a mini letdown, it may be too late to get back into the game. So the Bengals are in some trouble here unless they can show some real consistency. The coach under the most pressure in the final stretch of the season is who, Charean?
Well, I'm going to go with Mike McCarthy, who's still in COVID quarantine at least until Thursday. But this is a team that started out 6-1, Mike, and we were talking about them as the best team in football, not just the best team in the NFC, the best team in football. And it's amazing what happened in New England between these two teams, how they've diverged. That was the Patriots' last loss. They've just ascended. Cowboys won that game, and they have not been the same team since then. Whether it's Dak Prescott's calf that he hurt on the last play there in overtime, the touchdown throw to CeeDee Lamb, or whether it's teams have figured out how to stop their offense, which is what Vic Fangio said after the Broncos just kicked their butts here in town. Whatever it is, they haven't played as well as they played early in the season, and they've got to figure that out. And you've got a guy over there named Kellen Moore who could be a coaching candidate in the offseason, and I know that Jerry Jones wants to keep him. I don't think they make the change this year, but I tell you what, if they don't win the division, Jerry Jones is not going to be happy with Mike McCarthy and this team.
I think it's Mike Zimmer. So we got two Mikes that we're going to pick. Look, they are getting down to their last chance or two. They need to desperately win their next two games, both of which will be played in prime time. Thursday night against the Pittsburgh Steelers, and then 11 nights later on a Monday night in Chicago against the Bears. They need to get to 7-7 and hope for the best down the stretch against the Rams, Packers, and Bears. If they don't get to the playoffs, I think Zimmer's done. I think he's done. Yeah. They've spent too much money. They have immaculate, exceptional, state-of-the-art facilities. There's no excuse for this team to be an every other year proposition to just get to the playoffs and make a relatively quick exit. They need more. And 2 straight years of no playoffs, not good enough. If they don't make the playoffs this year, I think he's done. And he still may be done if they make it and they have an ugly loss in the wild card round. I'll say this. Nobody's been fired in season yet other than John Gruden, which was different circumstances. Nobody's been fired based on merit yet. One of the reasons I think is so many teams are still alive. Once some of these teams start having the fork stuck in them, I wouldn't be surprised if we don't have a rash of firing so you can get a head start on your coaching search, like we saw with Mike McCarthy in Green Bay. People were saying it was disrespectful. Yeah. Well, once you decide you're moving on, why wait? And if the Vikings lose the next 2 and get to 9 losses, even if they lose the next game and have that little extra, not that the interim coach even matters at this point, I think Zimmer's got to worry about, frankly, not making it to the end of the season if they don't turn it around quickly.
Hi, I'm Mike Tirico, and thanks for watching. Make sure to hit subscribe for the latest news and highlights from NBC Sports.